can't believe he's down at the ringside right now. Anyway, keep your eyes on DeMarco.
Oh my God! He hit him with a sexy kick. 1, 2, it's over. DeMarco is the new PCW.
Welcome to the Lucha Lounge. Again, this is Steve DeMarco, your host, and if you're looking at the title, you know exactly. Yes, finally, a wrestler's going to talk about Ring of Honor. Now, I've seen a lot of Ring of Honor videos, been following their product kind of since their inception. First and foremost, obviously they're doing something right. I'm talking about them. A lot of people talk about them. They've become kind of the internet darling and what to do with it with an independent company. How to get it to go from being a company that does a couple of shows here and there to being a company on pay-per-view, which is another good thing. They're on pay-per-view. They have 2 under their belt. They have a DVD library that can rival most wrestling companies. And they're the buzz people have been talking about. I like the fact that they do preach a code of honor, especially early on, as well as that they are about competition. They've performed in England, they performed in Japan, they're going to California, they're going to Vegas, so solid roster, and which are, you know, a roster that is capable of pulling off some very great matches. I mean, guys like the Briscoes, Nigel McGuinness and Bryan Danielson, that main event at Driven, I mean, that's amazing. You know, I mean, from a wrestler to watch it, and just, I could feel that this match was important for them, wins or losses, and just the finish. I mean, the finish was a thing of beauty. Austin Aries coming, a lot of people are big and high on that guy, and because some of them saw him at TNA and wanted him to do so much more, and that now that he's at TNA, you know, with Ring of Honor and the promo that he cut. I mean, not only him, not only that guy that can cut a promo, but, you know, guys like Adam Pearce cutting the promos that he has, 2 straight pay-per-views with very good promos. And also Larry Sweeney. I'm entertained by Larry Sweeney. I'm entertained by Sweet and Sour Incorporated. So, you know, and I'm looking forward to what the future might bring for those guys. The fact that they have a school that is producing talent, that's such a good thing, that they are putting over their school and that the school is producing talent or has produced talent. The commentators do a pretty decent job, and honestly the pay-per-views, like the storylines between both, you kind of, for some of them, you could follow it. So at least they're trying to do some kind of storyline between pay-per-views. And obviously, you can't say Ring of Honor without talking about the fans. The fans are passionate. They are so into it, so supportive of it, and I mean, that in itself is going to drive a company and makes it infectious. And again, but there are some things that Ring of Honor could do better. Taped pay-per-views, it's taped, and that kind of poses a problem for me, regardless of the amount of money, because let's all remember that TNA was doing weekly pay-per-views live, and they were costing roughly the same amount, if not less, than Ring of Honor pay-per-views. And Ring of Honor pay-per-views, again, are taped, which poses other problems, because their video wire, which should be just completely trying to hammer down, get this pay-per-view, get this pay-per-view, get this pay-per-view, in the case of the Age of the Fall, had to focus their attention on the Age of the Fall, and the people, the powers that be within Ring of Honor, booking the show, could have easily said, okay, we're not going to put it out there just yet. We'll wait until the pay-per-view is aired. You know, at least have some continuity between what you're airing in a pay-per-view market and what you're going to give to fans, as well as, you know, coming out of the pay-per-views. They could have done the Age of the Fall, and that would have hyped up the 3rd pay-per-view. And the roster page, if you can find it at Ring of Honor Wrestling, which you can, their website, it's lacking a lot of information that could be useful to just put over the talent, and just the little bells and whistles that when you're looking at roster pages you know, people do look at the roster page. They do look at the multimedia and see what videos, but they also look at the roster page, see who they're looking at, so they can become personally invested in who that person is. I think Morishima would be extremely more over and more credible if his roster page gave you a little bit more information about what he is, where he came from. But since you do boast an international roster, you know, guys from Japan, guys from England, why not take some time and put over either in a video highlight package, or you know what, Ring of Honor, what they could do is have fans submit their own tributes to particular wrestlers, and maybe have a section like that. That would be something, you know, that would show, you know, the bridge between fan and company, and that would probably blow it up even more. Like, we're completely fan interactive. Another thing I don't like, squashes on a pay-per-view. And I'm not talking about Morishima versus BJ Whitmer or Morishima versus Jimmy Rave. I'm not talking about those, because the commentators put over the fact that this guy's a dominant champion and look what he can do to top-tier talent. I get that. But Brent Albright squashing a kid from the wrestling school, and literally that is a squash. If you want to look at the definition of a squash match, that's the squash match, where the kid just gets thrown around, gets no offense. I mean, he comes out with a trophy, and they put over that he's a graduate, or the top graduate of the Ring of Honor Wrestling School or Wrestling Academy, and here you go, he gets fed to, and not that the feeding of a student to a, you know, a more experienced wrestler is a bad thing. It's just the way. It's squash matches on pay-per-views, especially when you're a young company, and this is really mainstream's exposure to you, because there are some mainstream fans who probably don't watch the DVDs, who don't get on the website a whole lot, but will tune into wrestling because it is wrestling. And if you're going to, that did really nothing for Brent Albright or his character. All it did, it was nothing. It really, they could have accomplished the same thing with a video, another video package of this guy, and another voiced over, like I said, highlight video where he says he's coming. Something like that could have really done you better. I mean, there's other little instances of that, or a lack of intensity in the wrestlers. If your commentators put over the fact that this is about competition and it's about staying, if you want to be on pay-per-view, you've got to win. If you lose, your pay-per-view slot's in jeopardy, then all wrestlers need to show me some intensity. When it's just, I think a match that comes to mind is Marufuji and BJ Whitmer. And BJ might be putting over to himself, and maybe the hardcore fans that follow it might know what his deal is. But if a guy that just lost on the first pay-per-view, I would be more amped to try to win. I would be more amped to put some intensity, some passion, and not anything, nothing against BJ. It's just, I didn't see it there. I hope people understand where I'm coming from. And again, like selling, it's a lost art form, and especially Ring of Honor. Now, what made McGuinness and Danielson work was that these are two very qualified, very good wrestlers that have reputations and are giving it their all and hitting each other's hard, but they're also putting over what is happening to them. So by the end of the match, you're invested in what they're doing. But when you see two guys go out there and they're just exchanging moves just to exchange moves, I feel it kills what overall story you're trying to tell. And selling moves, especially a move that looks like it could take you out, sell it for more than 5 seconds. Sell it for more than 10 seconds. Show the after effects after it's gone down, so that people can go, wow, that really hurt, and not feel like, oh, anyone can do it. Anyone can go take bumps. Because it does hurt, guys. When we bump on the outside, or even in the ring, certain shots, they hurt. And I just would like guys to put it over a little bit more. But overall, my view of Ring of Honor is it is a worthwhile product for people to watch. Feel that you can be part of that show and get emotionally invested. I would say check out Ring of Honor. It could potentially be the alternative. It is wrestling, and it is wrestling in my view at its purest form, because it's still close to being an indie, which is a good thing, not necessarily a bad thing. So again, I appreciate everyone's comments, concerns. TNA's review will happen sometime after the 2-hour debut.